The first time I had a real amount of money sitting in my account, not rich, but more than I'd ever had, I didn't feel secure. I felt nervous, like I was suddenly holding something I didn't know how to carry. I used to think the hard part was making the money. Like once you get past a certain number, everything kind of figures itself out. You stop stressing about rent, you stop doing mental math at the grocery store, and life just gets easier. And yeah, some of that is true. But what nobody warned me about is that every new level of income comes with a completely different set of traps. Not the same traps, different ones, more sophisticated ones, ones that actually feel smart and justified when you're falling into them. The scary thing about financial traps as your net worth grows isn't that they look like mistakes, it's that they look like progress. So I want to walk through the ones I've seen, either personally or watching people close to me, because I genuinely think this stuff could save someone years of setbacks. Here's the first one, and it hits almost everybody. The moment income goes up, spending goes up with it. And it happens almost automatically like gravity. You get a raise, so you move to a better apartment. You close a big deal, so you upgrade the car. You hit a new income milestone, so suddenly the restaurants you used to think were fancy feel normal. None of those individual decisions feel reckless. That's the trap. Each one feels earned. I remember when I started making more consistent money, I told myself I deserve to eat better, dress better, live better. And I wasn't wrong, but what I didn't notice is that my actual savings rate hadn't moved at all. More money in, more money out. The gap stayed the same. I was living like someone richer than I was, while my actual wealth barely grew. Think of it like a treadmill. You can run faster, increase your speed, but if the incline keeps going up at the same rate, you're still not getting anywhere. The real reward for making more money should be distance, the gap between income and spending. That gap is what actually builds wealth, but lifestyle inflation quietly closes that gap every time it opens up. This next one is subtle because it sounds responsible. I'm not ready to invest yet. I want to make sure my situation is more stable first. I've said this. I've heard this from almost everyone who ever delayed investing. And the honest truth is, it's usually not caution. It's avoidance wearing a responsible costume. Here's what actually happens. When you don't have much money, investing feels scary because you can't afford to lose any. So you wait. Then you start making more, and now you have more to lose, so you still feel like you need to wait until things are really stable. Then you make even more, and now the stakes feel even higher, so you want to be really sure before you commit. I've watched someone I know delay investing for 4 years. 4 years. They kept saying soon, when the business is more consistent, when the savings buffer is bigger, when the market settles down. Meanwhile, the best years for compounding were ticking by. It's like waiting to plant a tree until the weather's perfect. The perfect day never comes, and the tree you should have planted 3 years ago would already have roots. The trap is that being careful can actually be its own form of financial recklessness, just slower, quieter, harder to see until a lot of time has passed. This next one is painful to talk about because it's deeply tied to ego, and we don't like admitting that. As net worth grows, there's this pull to signal that net worth. A nicer watch, a better bag, a car that makes a statement. And in certain circles, this stuff actually has social and professional value. I get that. But there's a version of this that crosses a line into spending money to look like you have money, while the actual wealth under the surface is still thin. I think about this a lot in the context of social media. I'd see someone flexing a lifestyle online and I'd feel that little sting, like I wasn't where I should be. Then later, I'd find out they were broke behind the scenes, leveraged, stressed. The image was the product, not the reality. But then I realized I was doing a smaller version of the same thing, not online necessarily, but in my social world. Picking up dinner tabs I couldn't really afford, booking the nicer hotel so I didn't look like I was struggling, quietly keeping up with people who were further along financially. Every dollar spent on appearing wealthy is a dollar that doesn't get to actually become wealth. And the tragic irony is that the people who are genuinely building something tend to be the least flashy. They're putting that money somewhere it grows. Nobody talks about this next one enough. When you're broke, nobody's trying to get your money. There's not much to get. But the moment you start building something real, a completely different cast of characters enters your life. Financial advisors who earn commissions on what they recommend, friends with investment opportunities, crypto guys who found the sure thing, relatives who suddenly need a business partner. The trap here isn't that all of these people are bad. Some of them genuinely mean well. The trap is that your emotional state changes when you have more to protect. You get more anxious. You start looking for someone who sounds confident and knows more than you. And that search for certainty makes you vulnerable. I've watched someone I know hand over a significant chunk of savings to a financial consultant who had a nice office, a confident handshake, and zero obligation to act in their client's best interest. The products they sold paid them well. The client, not so much. The higher your net worth, the more valuable it is for someone else to manage your money badly on your behalf. That sounds harsh, but it's just how incentives work. The move is to become financially literate enough so you can ask uncomfortable questions and actually understand the answers. Not to distrust everyone, but to verify, always. Here's what actually shifted for me. There was a specific moment. I was scrolling through my expenses late at night, and I realized that despite genuinely making more money than I had the year before, I had almost nothing to show for it in terms of actual assets. Savings was up a bit, but in terms of net worth actually moving, real movement, almost nothing. And I had to sit with that uncomfortable question: where is it all going? The answer, when I was honest, was status. Comfort, keeping up, feeling like I was the success story before I'd actually built it. That was a genuinely humbling night, because I think a lot of us walk around with this idea that we're smart about money, or at least smarter than average. And maybe we are, but smart people fall into traps too. The traps just get more sophisticated as the numbers get bigger. What changed for me wasn't some massive system overhaul. It was just one shift in mindset. I stopped measuring my progress by how my life looked and started measuring it by what I actually owned. Assets, savings rate, real numbers. That's it. That one shift changed almost every financial decision I make now. Here's the thing about financial traps. They don't come with warning signs. They come dressed as upgrades, as opportunities, as rewards you've earned. That's what makes them traps. The goal isn't to be paranoid or to never enjoy your money. It's just to notice the gap between feeling like you're growing financially and actually being financially stronger. Because you can earn more every year, look more successful every year, feel more confident every year, and still be running in place. The trap doesn't steal your money all at once. It just quietly keeps the gap from ever getting wide enough to matter. So the question I'd leave you with isn't, am I spending too much? It's simpler than that. Is my net worth actually growing? Or am I just getting better at looking like it is?